What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to another video for F1 2016 gameplay, and this one is going to be about the damage model. Plenty of you have been asking for just some sort of footage of crashes, and the reason why it's taken so long to do it is because basically, obviously, I've been prioritizing other stuff, and also there's not too much footage here to show. You'll notice it's going to be about roughly 3 minutes worth of footage of actual damage, because it definitely wasn't something I was prioritizing to capture, because of course I was way more interested in actual stuff like career mode, the menus and stuff like that, and looking at the AI and just getting some nice races in there. But basically I captured obviously some natural crashes that happen between me and the AI, where me and the AI maybe make contact or anything like that. And then obviously there's going to be 2 clips from Australia where I was trying to get that safety car that I got in the career mode preview video in part 2, and I was just purposely kind of smashing into an AI car to try and force out the safety car, and we got some damage from that, obviously. So I think it's still good enough to show off the wheel tethers, the new system in the game, and just generally show you off the damage model. So hope you guys enjoy it. I'll come back afterwards to kind of discuss it all after the video, after the kind of clips have run, but I'm going to let those clips run without any commentary, so enjoy. So those were a few crashes that I personally got in the little capture event that I had. We only had 3 hours to capture footage, so those were the crashes I got. As you saw, as I mentioned, the Ferrari ones were more on purpose to try and trigger that safety car I got in the career mode preview video, and the other two were a lot more natural in terms of just AI making contact with me. And the McLaren one was quite spectacular. The Force India completely got wrecked with both wheels getting thrown up in the air on their tethers. But that was the damage model, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that was all on full damage. In this year's game on F1 2016, there are 4 settings for damage compared to 3 from the previous game. There's off, obviously, reduced, full, and simulation. So I think these were all on full. I can't remember for sure. I think maybe the McLaren one was maybe on simulation, but I really don't remember. It was all on Friday. But I'm pretty sure the rest of them were on full. So I didn't actually purposely go out and make sure it was on simulation, because as I just said, it was a 3-hour capture event. I was sort of in a rush to get everything done, the career mode and everything. So I didn't really bother looking completely into every single menu to make sure everything was there, and it didn't kind of cross my mind to go, oh, I need to make sure I get a gameplay on simulation, because honestly, for me, I wasn't going there to specifically get a crash compilation footage. I was there to see the career mode, because obviously, if you know my channel, that's what I'm most interested in. But those are a few crashes there. But the simulation damage, I can say, because obviously I tested the game out in March along with the other guys in March at the Codemasters HQ. When we tested it out then, the simulation damage was pretty much the gist of it. Was everything was just a lot more sensitive. Things would break off a lot easier. End plates would nick off at the slightest touch. Basically, front wings would fly off very easily. If you hit a wall, it was very, very susceptible to punches. You'd get the wheel tether kind of coming into play. The wheel would come off very easily if you hit the wall compared to full damage. So definitely is a lot more sensitive, the simulation damage. In terms of the simulation damage doing anything more than the full one does, in terms of actual damage occurred, it does nothing more. From what I remember, it just makes everything a lot more sensitive, and there's a big reason for that, and it's called FOM. And I think, this little discussion, obviously, if you don't care, you can click off by all means, but I'm going to have a bit of a discussion here, because it is something that comes up every single year, almost, and it gets a little bit frustrating reading the comments every single time, because I feel like there's a good bunch of people who watch, of you guys, not everyone, there's a lot of you guys who are clued in, and kind of actually know what's going on, but there's a few people that are maybe a little bit ignorant to what actually goes on behind the scenes with how FOM, if you don't know what that is, that's Formula 1 management, affects the Codemasters F1 game, the official F1 game. So, Codemasters are the developer, they make the game, but FOM, Formula 1 management, basically manage everything to do with F1 in the media and anything that goes on with its licensing and everything like that. And obviously F1 has an official license that Codemasters own and have acquired from F1, and FOM therefore kind of gets a bit of a say in pretty much everything Codemasters does on the F1 franchise, and that includes the damage model. And the damage model, the thing with the damage model is FOM have to adhere by what they want and what the teams want and what the sponsors want. And by sponsors I mean, so let's say the Ferrari car has Shell on its side pod. Shell get a say in what goes on. If they want to make sure that their Shell advertising is still seen in the game and it's not kind of tarnished in any way, and that there's no link between a broken car and a damaged car and their sponsor and their brand. And I know that sounds really stupid, and it does to me as well, but I sort of understand it a little bit more because I've kind of learned a lot more about brands and how marketing works in that sort of sense, and they just don't like that kind of subconscious subliminal messaging of a crashed car, their sponsor. And because of that, and because of the teams, they don't want their car to be all bashed up and everything like that. They kind of basically get FOM and FOM together as well, agree with them, and FOM basically kind of forces Codemasters to not be allowed to do anything with the side pods, the engine covers, the chassis, the monocoque. That's why you'll never see a monocoque get smashed up. That's why you'll never see a side pod fly off or an engine cover get beaten in, because purely the sponsors don't like it. They don't want those parts of the cars to be smashed up. They don't want their sponsorship, their brand logos to be not visible anymore, even if it's a crash. And that's why typically you only see the front wing breaking off, the front wheels breaking off, and maybe rarely the rear wheels breaking off, and I think sometimes the rear wing in previous F1 games. But that's basically because those parts rarely have too many sponsors on it. I mean, for Ferrari, there's like one Santander logo and a Shell logo on the front wing, compared to the entire side pod and the engine cover of like the Ferrari logo, Shell logo, Acer logo, Kaspersky logo, every kind of logo, Ray-Ban logo, everything on the side pod, the chassis, the monocoque. So there's a very annoying power struggle between FOM and Codemasters, and how the damage model works. And I'm not trying to defend FOM or Codemasters. I really do genuinely, I do get quite pissed off at FOM for this. They do a lot more things than just the damage model. They prevent us from having things like driver transfers, anything like that for now, because they're so focused on their outdated copyright system, which is frankly very, very, very outdated and just doesn't make any sense in the modern world. But hey ho, that's how the real world works right now. They still stick to this very outdated definition of copyright, and so because of that, things like that can't happen, and that includes the damage model with the whole copywriting of sponsors and everything like that. It's a shame, but it's something that happens, and I just don't think people are educated enough in that aspect. They don't know that, and they get very ignorant about it, and then they go spouting crap about the game and the damage model, and why is it not any kind of any kind of real difference, or compared to other games. The difference is other games don't have FOM to answer to. Assetto Corsa or Project Cars don't have FOM to answer to. They don't have any official F1 licensing in the game. They don't have to deal with FOM. Assetto Corsa has the new Ferrari car, but I'm pretty sure they get the license from Ferrari themselves, and it's an older car. It's not the latest car. FOM don't actually care too much once it's the older car. If it's the new car, the current car, they just get so touchy about it and don't want to change any of it, and it's really frustrating. And I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it. We asked Codemasters in March about it all, and they've kind of confirmed to us that there is a very fine line to tiptoe around what the FOM don't want and what they do want, what they're okay with. Basically, they've said thankfully that the relationship with FOM is getting a lot better and better, in the way that FOM are slowly starting to kind of ease up on some of their kind of strongholds on things. We've seen for this year's game, you can finally have your name in the game along with the podiums. That was something that they rectified with FOM and got them to kind of see the light of the day where it really went wrong in 2015. And slowly, just the general vibe that I got for in March is that eventually these things might be able to be opened up, but they just got to tread carefully. It all takes time for FOM to really keep on trusting the game and trusting how everything works and how people react to it in the real world if they see it in the game, basically. So hopefully in the future it can keep on getting better, and eventually we can see things like this, but at the moment it's just where it's at. It's FOM, standard FOM. I think if you're on Twitter, where most of the F1 community actually resides, you'll know all this, because people on Twitter are very clued in, because we all talk about it all the time. But if you're just on YouTube, you might be very kind of completely clueless about it all. So I thought I'd discuss that. So hopefully if you didn't know, you now know, and you can maybe get a bit more clued in the future about it all. But that's just my discussion about the damage model. I still think it's kind of nice they've improved it a little bit with the wheel tethers. It is a shame it's not any kind of major difference to like the side pod breaking in or anything like that, or like we've seen with the realistic damage mods in old games. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles, really. And so yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, in my honest opinion, is it a game breaker for me? No, not really at all. The career mode is way more important than how the damage is on the car. So each to their own though. But yeah, that's my little discussion, a little bit of a kind of oversight on the whole damage debate that will inevitably happen in the comment section, because it always happens. You have people that aren't subscribed to the channel who just come in, comment, and then leave and get the hell out of there. So I just thought I'd make this part of the video. I probably not many of you will actually watch to this point, but yeah, that's been it. If you did enjoy it anyway, hit that like button, let me know what you thought. If you're new around here, then do subscribe. If you've watched this long, then thank you, and do subscribe if you're new around here. I've been Aarava. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.